This is Hillary Goldstein of IGN Xbox here with a video preview of the single-player campaign from Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Chaos Theory is the true sequel to the original Splinter Cell. It's the first sequel made by the team that actually made the original Splinter Cell, as Pandora Tomorrow was actually made by Ubisoft Shanghai. Pandora Tomorrow is really kind of a slight step back in terms of the single-player game for the series, but with the original team back in full force on Chaos Theory, the single player has really stepped forward and become sort of what people had, I think, always envisioned Splinter Cell to be when it was first announced. The single player campaign is comprised of 10 different levels, and these levels have a lot of great variety to them, but what makes Splinter Cell Chaos Theory so much better than the first two is that Ubisoft has really been able to get rid of a lot of the linear levels that you had before. So when you go to the bank and you're standing outside the very beginning of the bank, your first instinct might be, hey, going through the front door. The trick is you're going through the front door of the bank, and you're going to make things a lot tougher for you. It's a lot easier to get spotted. Basically, you're giving the AI an advantage. However, if you go to the right section, you can actually get a ladder and take the ladder up onto the roof, and then you can actually go in through a skylight, which is much more advantageous. So even when you're on the right side and you see that ladder that you could go up to the rooftop, there's also a door next to it which you could use to enter that way. So there's a lot of different options, and depending on how you enter, it's going to change some of the flow of the level. Ubisoft Montreal paid special attention to the AI. They didn't want to have that trial and error system that you got in the first two Splinter Cell games. So now you have an AI that's, first of all, much smarter and is consistent throughout the level. You really want to be a ghost this time around. What you're going to find is that the AI is so smart and gets progressively smarter throughout each level that if you enter a room that normally is lit and you turn off the light and leave off the light when you leave, a guard who comes in there may actually realize that something's up and just think it's kind of peculiar. Now, if you choose, instead of picking a lock, to break a lock, which is faster but causes noise, guard's going to see that the lock is broken and is going to know something is up. The biggest advantage that Sam has this time around is that he has a knife. If you get a guard near you, you can use the right trigger to slash his throat. I mean, there's nothing better than that. You don't want to punch a guy or knee a guy. I mean, you want to be able to cut a guy. You want to be able to stab a guy. Ubisoft Montreal also has added a lot more context sensitivity to your kills and your actions. So now when you're hanging on a pipe and a guy passes underneath you, you have a couple options. You'll see that you could grab the guy and actually strangle him with one of the buttons, or you can do a quick kill, so that you basically have a kill button, which is the right trigger, and that button will always sort of be meant for death, for killing. And it works in every situation, so that if you're hanging from a pipe or if you're running up to a guy or whatever it is, that's going to be like a kill move. Even if you've got a guy hostage, the right trigger is the kill move. If you have somebody held hostage and you take them to the railing of a boat and you press the kill button, you'll knock them over, which is pretty cool to look at. So that's just a brief look at Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, coming out at the end of March for Xbox, PC, PS2, and GameCube. The single player is looking phenomenal, and believe it or not, the multiplayer and co-op is even better, and we'll get into those later this month.